Well, hello everybody, welcome back. It is Jeff again coming to you with another episode of Minecraft from the Mindcrack vanilla Minecraft server. And I've got an inventory pretty much full of snow, as well as a nether chest pretty much full of snow. And I'm making one of these other long trips back out to the project area. So, I'm not going to bore you guys with the walk, but I'll show you guys the progress I've made when I get there. See you guys in a second. Hey, Arcus. What's up, buddy? Alright, everybody. I've made the trip back, and as you can see, I haven't done the greatest job of lighting this area up because there's a lot of mobs, and I don't have a bed over here either, I realize. So I'm going to use some of this excess wool that I have and create a bed. Though it's not necessarily what I would call excess wool, but I am just like stacking up my mounds of snow, and it's working quite well. Now, I've done a couple episodes recently where I've just been like working on this this project, but that is not what today is going to be about. Today is going to be a break from actually working on this project, but I think what it is going to be is we're going to check out this area and see just what's around here, just in general. An update really quickly. Somebody had told me this in the comments as well. Unfortunately, it was last week when I saw the comment, so I'm not 100% sure of the user's name off the top of my head because I forgot to go look before I started the video. But they said to not be too concerned with the map thing and not get too... because how the maps wouldn't update at that one point. To not basically get too comfortable and think that if I rename a map, it's not going to change back. They said it's a bug, and they bet you it will, because it should have updated, and they bet that it would go back to normal. And I will tell you, here is my good old cards, and they very much so have re-updated now that this chunk is loaded again. So they're no longer stuck in the phase they were at before. So therefore, what that means is I do have to be very careful to make these cards. But as you can see, I've got a quarter of this area done, and I think what I figured out is it is approximately a double chest full of snow is a quarter of this area. So this should get me through half. This should get me, you know, a half of the next quarter that I need to deal with. I still got a lot of snow that I need to truck in here, and it's getting tedious, man. I have spent a lot of time. Luckily, I've utilized some programs like auto hotkey and things like that to make the snow mining process a little bit easier, and so that's been going okay. It's just still very, very time consuming, to say the least. But you know what? It's fun time consuming. So that being said, what we're gonna do is we are gonna go explore this great area around us, because I don't know what is around here. I gotta watch out for this witch. I don't have a bow on me. I don't know if I brought a bow over here, actually. I did, a power 2 bow. However, limited arrow supply. So, as my phone is going off on the table next to me, oh, she's gone. Which, she knew better. She was like, well, he's coming after me. I better peace out for a little bit. So, that's good. She knew her role. But anyways, we're going to go scope out this area over here while I talk about the events of this weekend. So, this weekend, I was at Firefly Music Festival in Dover, Delaware. I've gone to that every single year that it's been in existence, which has only been 4. This is the 4th year. I wasn't planning on going back to it this year. It kind of lost its appeal to me. Last year wasn't really that good, but Julia really wanted to go. There was a couple bands she really wanted to see. It's actually still going on right now. It's going to end tonight. I came home early because I have to work in the morning, had to get some things done. So this is so weird terrain generation around here. I'm going to go scope this area out. I don't know, is this like the edge of an extreme biome or something? Oh, I need some coal, actually, so let me grab this coal. So either way, there was a couple cool bands we saw. One of the biggest bands that I wanted to see while we were there was Sublime with Rome. Sublime with Rome played last night, and I gotta say, it was amazing. However, Sublime with Rome was cut short because we had read the weather report all day that there was this big, like a hurricane that had started in Texas was actually making its way up through the coast, and there was some severe flood warnings for the area that we were in, and it was supposed to get pretty bad. Well, the rain was holding off for quite a while. The sky was really dreary, really gray. Like, we were kind of worried about what was going to happen, but whatever. We're camping, and we camped, by the way. So we're in a tent at this festival for the weekend, and we're like, okay, we're probably going to get soaked tonight. The area is already muddy as hell, full of, you know, just crazy, dirty. We feel disgusting and dirty all the time anyway. That's what happens when you go camping. So Sublime with Rome is playing, and about 35-40 minutes into their set, they all of a sudden they were like, severe weather incoming, seek shelter immediately. And we were like, oh cool, they're making fun of the fact that, you know, there's this severe weather coming in, about like basically how much idiots we all are for standing out in a big open field like at a concert venue. No, they were serious. They shut down the festival, evacuated everybody out of the festival. That's interesting. I've never seen surface lava like that before. But they evacuated everybody out of the festival back to our tents, which, you know, going back to your tent is not exactly the safest place, but I guess it's safer than being out in the middle of an open field. And then the tornado alarm started going off at about 2 o'clock in the morning. It started pouring. It was an intense, interesting experience, that's for sure. But that was just a part of the festival experience. I had fun with stuff like that. Nothing happened. There was no tornado ended up touching down or anything like that, so it wasn't a big deal. Don't get all concerned like, oh my god, are you guys okay? No, everything turned out to be fine. It was just a really nasty storm. There was, you know, tents were getting blown over all over the place. Like the empty ones, obviously, when people are in them, it's harder to blow over. Our tent tried to collapse on us about 15 times throughout the night because it was that windy and that rainy. But, you know, we made it through. We woke up a little bit, you know, soaking wet, and, you know, good story to tell. I guess that's all there is to it. So nothing really, you know, no harm, no foul type of deal. I had a good time with all that. Look at the hi creeper. One of the coolest experiences that I had at the festival is this was the first time, I will tell you, that I was recognized in a public setting, that people didn't like assume that I was going to be that. I thought that was amazing, and it made me feel so good. And Sarah's the person who recognized me. Sarah, I apologize if I was not in the proper state of mind. I was so excited when she, you know, recognized me, and we started talking for a minute, and she was telling me about our kids loving Minecraft and things like that. I will admit I had been doing a little bit of drinking and was not in the perfect state of mind, so I don't think I said anything inappropriate, or I don't mean inappropriate as in like, you know, that, but just general drunken inappropriateness. I think I maintained a pretty good professionalism while being super excited, so I hope so. Either way, it was kind of a cool experience for me because, you know, I'm not the biggest channel in the world. People who watch my show, you guys know that, you know, I'm one of the smaller guys that's out there, especially within the Mindcrack confines. And we actually had stopped and asked this lady for directions to one of the stages. We had just gotten there, and I was like, hey, do you know where like the lawn stage is at? Or I can't remember which stage we asked her for. And she was like, oh yeah, go through that little like path over there, and it'll take you right over to the stage. And all of a sudden she goes, do you look really familiar? And I was like, oh, okay, you know, thinking, okay, yeah, I got one of those faces, you know, no big deal. It's, you know, there's a lot of people, hundreds of thousands of people at this festival. I can't guarantee it's hundreds of thousands, but tens of thousands of people at least were at this festival. And she goes, do you play Minecraft? And I kind of stopped and I looked at her and I was like, yes. And she goes, are you JSano19? And I was like, oh, this is awesome. Like, it's not even that she just recognizes me as like, this might be one of those people who, you know, I've seen before, but she knew like exactly who I was. Did I just loop back to that portal? I could have sworn the portal was the opposite side. If I have a workbench over here, I do. What the hell? How did I do that? I could have sworn the portal was at the opposite side. So right over there is where we just came from. I guess I can just check the coastline up until there through the swamp, because I didn't think that that's the way I had gone. So that was cool. So Sarah, to you and your family, thank you. Well, I only met you. You were just telling me about your family, but thank you. It made me feel really good. I was really excited, if you couldn't tell, because it's just, I don't know, it's a cool feeling when somebody recognizes you enough to like call you out in public. And she said actually that it wasn't that she saw me. She goes, I could tell by your voice. I knew your voice was familiar. I knew that you were Jay Sano. And I was like, oh, that's pretty awesome. So that being said, funny part of the weekend that happened, and so the first night, this is the first night that we were there. We went back to the tent, we went to sleep. I was there with Julia, my girlfriend, and a friend of ours had come up, and we all stayed in this big tent. And in the morning, I woke up on Saturday morning, and her friend Jessica goes, we were all hanging out together all night, like, at the concert, after the concert, back at the campground, like, we're all just having a good old time. And in the morning, Jessica goes, we wake up, and she goes, "Oh, Jeff, by the way, I didn't tell you last night, but yeah, your fly was down most of the night." And I just kind of stopped and looked at her, and Julia's mouth got really big, like her jaw like dropped, and she goes, "What do you mean his fly was down all night?" She goes, "Yeah, I noticed it pretty early on, and I kept meaning to say something, and I just kept forgetting." She's like, "So you saw his fly down all night long, and you didn't say a word to him? But this morning, the first thing out of your mouth is, by the way, your fly was down all night." And she's like, "Yep, pretty much." So, well, how good of a friend is that? She knew my fly was down the entire night of the concert that I did not notice. And one of the things that she said was so funny about it, she's like, when you were talking to that fan of yours, that person who recognized you, that's when I realized your fly was down, and I didn't even say anything. So not only is this person recognizing me in public, but all she sees is me a little bit tipsy, worse for the wear in that regard, as well as sitting there with my fly down while trying to contain my excitement. So again, apologies if it was that bad. Hopefully you didn't notice, because I obviously hadn't noticed, but somebody else had all night and did not say a word to me. And I would say, well, somebody should have said a word. Somebody would have said something to me if they saw it. But obviously even my friends didn't say anything to me about it. So we can't guarantee that everybody all night wasn't like, "Look, there's that guy with his fly that was down." I'm really honestly not. I'm not that concerned, but I do find it quite comical and quite funny that, like, how can you hold that back from somebody? I guess I gotta call myself out on this at least now. When I was working a couple years back in the ICU with a good friend of mine, her name was Lisa, and she was a really cute looking girl. We were really good friends, but a really good looking girl. Like a lot of the doctors and stuff, when they would meet her for the first time, see, there's my stuff right over there, barely in render distance. Well, it's out there. It is now. Only render distance and peripheral vision. So a lot of the doctors, when they would come in, they would a lot of them would hit on her and things like that. And but most of them, she didn't really want anything to do with. She, for a long time, had like this long-term boyfriend. But then when they split up, she was sometimes a little bit more interested when some of the doctors were interested in her. So being a regular basis, I didn't think much of this, and I don't know why. One night, and it was a guy that turns out that she thought was really, really cute and was really, really excited because he started talking to her, so she started talking back to him. Well, I will tell you, about 5 minutes before this, we were in the break room eating lunch, and I noticed this big, almost like this large popcorn kernel. It was how you get something stuck in your teeth? This wasn't something that got stuck in her teeth. It got stuck over top of the front, one of her big front teeth, over top of it. It almost made it look like she had a black tooth, because it was really dark. Whatever it was brown. I don't know if it was skin of something from some candy we were eating or what it was, but it was there and it was very prominent. And I went to say something to her about it, and right when I was about to, she started having this conversation with somebody else and telling this joke, and people started laughing. And then I think somebody called her out of the room because her patient needed something. So I had all intentions of saying something, and I didn't, even though it would have been so easy to be like, "Hey, Lisa," and just kind of point at the teeth and make it that simple. Well, 5 minutes later, I didn't say anything. I don't know why I didn't. It was just she got busy talking, and I was just like, "Oh, whatever, no big deal. I'll deal with her later. I'll tell her what's going on later." And I don't want these creepers to blow this crap up. I worked so hard at getting all the snow out here. I don't care if these guys do damage to me, but afterwards, she's talking to this doctor, and she comes back in the break room, and she goes, "Oh my God, Jeff, that new doctor, whatever his name is," she's like, "He's really cute, and he was talking to me." And I was like, yeah. And at this point, I looked, and I realized that this thing is still in her teeth. Clearly, still in her teeth. And now I felt bad because I didn't say anything, but for some reason it made me feel bad to the point where I still didn't say anything. And that's just like a dick move. I still didn't say a word to her. And she goes into the bathroom and she comes out and she goes, "Oh my God, Jeff, I just realized I was talking to that cute doctor and I had this big thing right over my teeth. I hope it wasn't there when I was talking to him. I am so embarrassed." And for some reason at this point is when I felt it necessary to be like, "Yeah, actually I saw that a little bit ago and didn't get a chance to say anything to you about it. But yeah, it was definitely there when you were talking to him." I don't know why at this point. I would already, I should have just committed to a lie or something. I'm not advocating lying or anything like that. But at this point, it's almost just a level of, she's embarrassed. Let's at least have her have the benefit, like possibility that he didn't talk to her when she had this thing sticking out in her teeth, because that'll make her feel a little bit better. But no, instead I had to tell her not only, yes, you definitely had it in your teeth when you were talking to him. And by the way, as a good friend of yours, I knew this and didn't say anything to you. She was so angry with me, and all she kept doing all night is going up to other people. Like this one girl that was there, her name was Dawn. She's like, "Dawn, can you believe this shit that Jeff just did?" And she's like, "He didn't tell me I had something in my teeth when I was talking to this guy." And she's like, "Well, he must not have known then." And I was like, "No, yeah, I'll admit, I knew. I don't know why I didn't say anything." Like, what an asshole move is that? I guess this whole zipper thing is like, you know, oh shoot, what do you call it when things come back around to bite you in the ass? Payback? Payback's a bitch, I guess is what it would be. I don't even know. Like, so I guess I can't really be that mad, because when it's, I guess my zipper being down was not her problem. So she might have thought about telling me, and if I got caught up in conversation with somebody else afterwards, whatever. It's not her problem. She's not going to deal with it. It's not going to go out of her way to make sure I know that my fly is down. I guess that could be the same thing, so I can't really be that mad, but how bad is that? How bad of a friend am I? I am such a bad friend. That was so many years ago, and I still, like, it still haunts me. The stupidest things that can haunt you in life, like, it really does. It's one of those things where I'm like, how could I have been such an asshole and not done this? And now I have the same type of thing happen to me. God, I'm a dick. Anyways, guys, we did a little bit of exploring today. You saw the snow haul. You saw the progress that I'm making in what I'm doing. So hopefully I can start making some more progress in this. It's only a week before less than a week before I actually leave to go to Minecon. So I mean, this project is obviously not going to be done prior to going to Minecon, but maybe we can at least have the base finished and a couple cards started. I just need to spend some time and work, and I made this bed, and I don't even think I slept in it. I don't remember if I slept in it or not, but let's sleep in it now. Turn it daytime, and be good to go. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. I will see you next time.